Flights cost $1,200 each, my mother declared. If you can't pay, don't come. I nodded, masking the sting with a faint smile. It wasn't the first time, sixth in 2 years actually, that my family made it clear I was only included if I footed the bill. She said it so casually over speakerphone while I stood in my scrubs, drenched in sweat after a 12-hour hospital shift. I just worked back-to-back nights to cover rent and nibble at my student loans. They were headed to Maui, Mom, Dad, my sister Kayla, her husband Derek. A week-long family escape, business class, naturally. We deserve this, she said. It's been a tough year for us all. As if I wasn't part of that us. As if I hadn't lent Kayla $2,500 last April when Derek's sales job tanked, or paid Dad's medical deductible when his blood pressure spiked and he balked at urgent care costs. I told her it was fine, I'd stay home. Then I went back to cleaning up after a drunk patient who'd swung at me for suggesting he rest. That night my phone pinged, a credit card alert. 4 business class tickets, $1,200 each charged to my card, not my name. I opened the app. Passenger names, Kayla B., Derek B., Sandra M., Mom, William M., Dad. No Alex M. My hands went cold, pulse racing. They'd used my card again without asking, assuming I'd cover it like always. No window seat for me. I hit dispute all, locked the account. An hour later, brushing my teeth, my phone buzzed. Kayla's text, why isn't anything paid for? We're at check-in. I wiped my mouth, took a breath, and typed, like you said, I stayed behind. I stayed back, but not how they thought. I booked my own trip, somewhere warm, quiet, no family, no strings. The next morning, Dad called. I didn't pick up. That afternoon, he showed up at my apartment, knocking like he owned it. I didn't open the door. It didn't begin with the tickets. That was just the final straw atop a heap of crossed lines and overdraft fees. It started at 22 when Kayla borrowed my card for a $600 dress for her engagement party. A temporary emergency because you're in healthcare, you don't need to dress up. She swore she'd repay me by month's end. She didn't, then Dad had me co-sign a loan for their kitchen remodel. It's for resale value, he said. You'll inherit it someday. Spoiler, they refinanced the house twice, using the cash to bail out Derek's second failed venture. I was working 50-hour weeks, barely staying afloat. Yet I was the family's cash machine, the reliable nurse, single, no kids, expected to chip in because family helps family. It was never mutual. When I had pneumonia last winter, I asked Mom for soup. Can't, sweetie, she said. I'm watching Kayla's kids while she gets her nails done, you get it. I always got it. When Derek wrecked my car, borrowed while his was in the shop, my insurance premiums doubled. No apology, just, that's what insurance is for, right? They bled me dry bit by bit until I didn't notice, like a frog in boiling water. The week before the Maui trip lit the fuse. After a night shift, Kayla texted, can you send money early? Mom needs it for hotels. What money? I wasn't even invited. I texted back, short for what? She sent a hula dancer gif captioned, family vacay. I called Mom. Kayla said you need hotel money, I said, keeping my voice even. Don't worry, sweetie, she chirped. It's all booked. We just needed a buffer for business class upgrades. Derek's knees, you know. You're asking me to pay for upgrades for a trip I'm not on? Silence. Then her tone shifted. Alex, if you wanted to come, you could have said so. But the flights are $1,200. If you can't afford it, maybe it's best you skip this one. No hard feelings. She said it like I was a burden, an inconvenience to their lavish plans. I didn't argue, just hung up. Quiet. Numb. Then the alert hit my card, 4 business class tickets, the numbness shattered, all the sacrifices, canceled trips, skipped meals, double shifts, for what? So they could live large while I rationed meds and ate ramen 3 nights a week. That night, I stared at my budget spreadsheet. $327 in checking, $14,200 in student loans, a 6-year-old car with 119,000 miles. No vacation since college. Meanwhile, Derek was sipping champagne, my name on the receipt. Kayla's text from check-in, why isn't it paid for? Broke the illusion. That's who they were. I wasn't family, I was funding. I replied, like you said, I stayed behind. Then I did something new. I opened a travel site, booked my own trip. Nothing fancy but mine. No guilt, no expectations. The next day, Dad appeared at my door, still in a Hawaiian shirt, his face a mix of confusion, anger, and entitlement. He knocked. I stayed still. He knocked louder. Alex, open the door, we need to talk. I didn't. He stood there 7 minutes, I timed it, then left. That evening, Mom's voicemail came. You really hurt your father. He flew back early to talk, after all we've done for you. Done for me. I saved the message, not for nostalgia, for proof. I was done doubting myself. Kayla called 5 times the next day, then texted, "Grow up. You can't punish us over a misunderstanding." Misunderstanding. They stole from me, mocked me, and when I said no, I was the villain. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. They thought silence meant I'd cave, that if they pushed hard enough, I'd fold like always, but I'd changed. Dad and Mom showed up again the next day, same hallway, same tired tactics. I didn't open the door. That night, the texts poured in. "Kayla, you're so unfair. We needed those upgrades. Derek's knees swell in economy. Do you know how embarrassing it was to downgrade and pay ourselves? Family," she said, "is supposed to help." I typed, deleted, retyped, then sent. "Like when I covered your rent for 8 months and you never paid me back." No response. Mom's calls followed, all ignored. Then Dad texted, "Stop playing victim. We had no choice. We didn't know the card would decline. You always help." That line, "You always help," burned, like I was their employee slacking on duty. I didn't reply, but I wasn't finished. They thought this was a tantrum I'd get over. It wasn't. I was drained, financially, physically, emotionally, from years of being their safety net. So I did the unthinkable. I wrote an invoice. Kayla's engagement dress never repaid. Loan during Derek's unemployment. Dad's MRI deductible. Groceries Mom forgot to reimburse. 4 business class tickets charged without consent. Interest and fees from late payments. I emailed it to the family group chat. Subject: repayment for unauthorized charges and past support. Body: as you believe family supports each other, see the attached breakdown of my contributions over the past 24 months. As of July 1, I will no longer cover family expenses. Full repayment due within 30 business days, or I'll report unauthorized use of my card to my bank. The chat erupted. "Kayla, an invoice to your own family?" Mom: "This is cruel, Alex. You're making it worse." Dad: "We raised you better." That last one lit a fire. They didn't raise me. I raised myself, juggling shifts, debts, and their endless demands. I replied, "You didn't raise me. I carried the weight of your choices. Not anymore." Then I blocked Kayla, left Mom and Dad unblocked, curious how far their denial ran. They showed up again the next night. Dad looked rigid. Mom clutched papers, likely receipts or excuses. I opened the door. "We need to talk," Mom said, voice shaky. "No, I don't," I said calmly. Dad stepped forward. "This stunt, freezing the card, the invoice, it's spiteful. We're your family." "And you used my card for flights," I snapped. "That's not family, that's theft." "We didn't think it'd be an issue," Mom sobbed. "You always help. Because you trained me to," I shot back. "Since I was 22, I've been your ATM. I helped because I thought saying no made me a bad son. I'm done." "Don't talk to your mother like that," Dad growled. "No, don't treat me like I owe you," I said. "I worked doubles while Kayla and Derek drank mimosas on my dime. I paid your hospital bills while you called me selfish." He stepped closer. "You think this makes you strong? Abandoning family?" "No," I said, "but it makes me free." I shut the door, not slammed, firm, final. They didn't knock again. Mom's voicemail came later, soft, broken. "I don't know who you are anymore." I smiled. I wasn't the pushover they'd known. One afternoon, Lee and I lounged on my sofa, browsing local hiking trails. She pointed to one and grinned. "Want to hit it next weekend?" For the first time in years, I didn't need to check my bank balance. I just said, "Yeah." Weeks later, a handwritten letter arrived, no return address. I knew the handwriting, Kayla's. 5 pages of manipulation dressed as remorse. "Everyone messes up. You went too far, Mom's crying daily. You've turned your back on blood." At the end, she wrote, "We're family, that's forever." She was right. We are family, that's what makes it worse. It wasn't strangers who took from me. It was those who knew me best and did it anyway. I folded the letter, tucked it atop Marissa's file, and locked them in a drawer. The night before my birthday, a card came in the mail. Plain, unsigned, just 3 words. "I see you." Marissa's doing, I smiled. Someone finally saw me. It's been 6 months since I shut the door on my past. 6 months since I stopped saying sorry for saying no. 6 months since I looked in the mirror and saw not a wallet, but a man, whole, unbound. I used to think closure meant they'd come to me, heads low, tears flowing, offering apologies and redemption. But closure wasn't their task, it was mine. 3 weeks ago, I ran into Mom by chance. I was grabbing a morning coffee at a quiet downtown cafe, half asleep, earbuds in, hoodie up. Then her voice, "Alex." I looked up. There she was, smaller than I recalled, not just in height but in presence, like time had diminished her. She smiled as if nothing had happened, as if we hadn't waged a war of silence and invoices. "Can we sit?" We sat. She spoke first, rambling, no real apologies, just rewritten history. "We were just trying to keep things together. We didn't see how much you were carrying. If we could redo it, maybe we'd choose differently." No accountability. No mention of the fraud, Derek's attempt to use my card again, or Kayla's venom. Just a rehearsed plea for me to play the forgiving son. I was done with that part. Then came the predictable question, do you hate us now? I didn't waver. No, I said, but I don't owe you anything anymore. She blinked. We're family. That's not a reason, I replied. That's an excuse. She pulled an envelope from her purse, stood, and said she hoped I'd return to them someday. I said calmly, I already did to tell you I'm not coming back. After she left, I opened the envelope. A check for $78.70. No note, no apology, just silence with a price tag. I didn't cash it right away. I pinned it above my desk next to a quote that shifted my perspective. You don't have to burn yourself to warm others. Kayla, she never reached out again, but Marissa did. After sharing Derek's financial deceit with me, she sent the same evidence to a family law attorney at the state fraud office. Derek's now under investigation for wire fraud and siphoning family funds. Turns out he didn't just use my card. He'd been skimming mom and dad's retirement savings, the same people who once said he was just struggling. Poetic. When I asked Marissa why she helped, she said, you deserve someone in your corner. I couldn't stand by while they kept draining you. She wasn't just Derek's ex anymore. She was a truth teller with proof. Dad, he lost his job quietly. Word is HR started digging after an anonymous packet arrived. He called once more, leaving a voicemail. You've made your point, Alex. You've shamed us all, but family isn't a ledger. You'll regret this. I didn't reply. Family is a ledger when it's always one-sided. Lee and I were steady. I told her everything, the good, the ugly, the bank records. She didn't flinch, just held my hand and said, I'm proud you didn't let it make you bitter. She's the first person who never made me earn her care through sacrifice. We're planning to move in together this fall, a bigger, brighter place. No, I didn't ask anyone for money. The check. I cashed it, then donated every penny to a scholarship for young nurses supporting their families while studying. Someone out there is me 5 years ago, breaking their back while their family acts like it's normal. Let them know it's not. Let them know they're not alone. Where am I now? Stronger, quieter, wiser. Still a son, a brother, but no longer their lifeline. I don't carry their burdens anymore. I carry my boundaries, my peace, and the memory of the day I said, I'm not your safety net. I'm my own person. They didn't get it. But I love myself for it. What I leave behind. The guilt, the fear, the lie that being good means bleeding for others. What I keep, my life, it's not perfect, but it's mine, and I'm not sharing it with anyone who doesn't value me. I used to be their crutch. Now I stand tall alone, the door I closed still shut, the key in my pocket, and it's staying there.